Hello and welcome to something that is a little bit different than my regularly scheduled programming. Although by this point, what the fuck even is my regularly scheduled programming? Because I don't even know anymore. No, today I'll be talking about Chuggington. I know, a bit weird. But I want to talk about it because it occurred to me that I bought a lot recently of Chuggington and I'm going to be selling all of it on eBay. I'm not really a Chuggington Wooden Railway collector, but I thought it'd be interesting to have a look at it. Because it's been about, for a lot of these items, it's been about 10 years since they were produced. Give or take. And I thought it'd be interesting to see sort of Chuggington sort of 10 years on. I mean, the Wooden Railway range, it is about 12 years old at this point. They came out, actually no, it's nearly 12 years old. They came out in very late 2010, with the bulk of the stock really coming in about 2012. So, to a certain extent, the ones I'm showing you are 10 years in, but bear in mind, the range is sort of 11, 12-year-old. So, I'll just start off with a random character. Here we have Olin, I think that's what his name is, yeah. Now, I only vaguely remember this show, so I can't really name all the characters, although I do know that this never had a tender, which is fine. These are three from a more recent lot I got. I haven't cleaned them yet, and you can sort of tell they're a little bit dirtier than they should be. But they'll clean up alright. So this is one of the early ones, like I mentioned. This is 3360 TFI, and those tend to be the earliest, I think, we see of these. There might be one earlier code, but I can't recall exactly. By the way, you have to appreciate what they tried to do with Chuggington, especially compared to Wooden Railway, and that is they made them chunky. And, you know, I kind of appreciate that. When you can't match the bogey size, etc., you're better off just making them fairly chunky. Also, sorry about that, I'm going to turn that off, because I'm a professional. And if that's on, it'll start pissing someone off in the comments. Okay, next item is actually one of my personal favorites. And it's this guy. I know it's a bit weird, but it was Emery. I always kind of liked this guy. I don't know why. He's one of the few items I'd probably want to have mint. So I'm not a Chuggington fan, but even I like this sort of design, this thing. Well, it's interesting to note when you think about it. This is basically the inverse of what Kenji became. She's got sort of a longer back car, and Kenji has a shorter back car. It's a bit fucking weird, but it's kind of an interesting little bit. And the weirdest part is, I think Emery, yeah, oh no, yeah, he's slightly shorter than his car, which is weird when you think about it. Because that means there was, around the time that the last Thomases were being produced, a character that did actually have a shorter chassis between the sizes of, say, Lady and Thomas. And it's just a one-off for fucking Emery. It's just a bit fucking weird, but you know, Chuggington was. His eyes are a little bit messed up. But overall, I really like this guy, you know? I probably will still sell him, but you know, I definitely having had one in hand now, I definitely want to own one proper. Actually, this one's probably one of the worst nicks of all of them. I think the rest are better than this. Next up, we have Frostini. Now, I do remember this guy briefly. He's a early 2012 example. And, you know, this sort of illustrates why, to an extent, there were some nice things about Chuggington in this chunky design. That is, they're able to have extra details. So you flip that up, and you've got a ice cream thing. Which is, you know, that's really cool. You know, it's been clean. It's a bit dirty in there. But, you know, those cool features were kind of nice. I mean, granted, this guy is basically all plastic. I mean, I think the back part here is, I think this part here that runs along, that's wood. That's wood, but then you've got a all plastic roof, you've got all plastic sides here, here, which is a compromise you have to make, and the front's all plastic, which is pretty typical with Chuggingtons. Yeah, the all-plastic front did allow for better looking designs. Well, something we already touched on how weird it was that Chuggington and Thomas Wooden Railway, Chuggington Wooden Railway and Thomas Wooden Railway were produced by the same company for fucking ages. It's weird. Next up we have Chatsworth. This guy actually was one that cleaned up really well. I tend to find that white characters do clean up pretty well because it's pretty easy to tell when they're not in the best of condition. I vaguely remember this guy as a bit of a dickhead, but, you know, it's alright. Also, another thing I wanted to note, I just realised, a lot of these Chuggingtons say learning curve brands. Even though by this point, a fair few of the items were saying Tomy brands. I mean, basically those two early 2012s. Here's a late 2012. Actually, I think this might be one of the final codes. And it says Tomy. And this earlier one says RC2. So, you got some interesting things going on with the RC2, learning curve, etc. But it's weird to think that they still have these kind of... Well, they still had learning curve branding on the bottom of trains well into the Tomy era. Next up we have Coco. This is one of my better ones, I think. It definitely looks decent. Captures the character fairly well. The faces were hit and miss. I think hers is a bit more of a miss. But again, another one that cleaned up very well because it's white. And this is a G2512 code, so a bit interesting. Next up we have what I think is one of the worst looking characters in the whole range, which is funny because it's Wilson. Yeah, look, his face is alright, but he just sort of doesn't have it going for him. You can also tell this is another TFI, and you can tell sometimes TFI just does not have the quality when it comes to paint, and this is one of the ones where it really shines through how shitty the paint is. It's a shame, but whatever. Also, J2612, I believe that might have been a Chuggington exclusive code. I can't recall exactly. If it does have Thomas things on the database, they're not very many of them. Next up, we have what I think is one of the best one, literally the best one they ever did, Action Chugger. Yeah, this one got a lot of popularity at the time, and I can see why, because it's such a cool design. And I mean, this is just peak. I mean, even as a Thomas the Tank Engine fan through and through, this gets me excited. You know, it was really cool at the time. It's a stupid concept, yeah, but fucking, it's an engine with jet engines that can fucking fly. Do I really need to say any more about it? This is a G2512, and, you know, it looks pretty decent. And that's really fucking satisfying. We're nearly at the bottom of the box, so there's not too many left to go. Next up, we have Hodge. He was one of the more intriguing looking ones, I suppose. It's not exactly too exciting, but you know, it's fucking Hodge, isn't it? He was sort of like a built together patchworky kind of thing. Very American. It's just not an early one. The coupling, and this one really illustrates, fucking look at those magnet guards. Jesus, they're fucking massive. I think Hodge might have the same, well, similar chassis to Emery too. So it might have been used on a couple of characters, this sort of slightly smaller chassis. So I thought he did freewheel. I was like, fucking what? Next up we have Brewster, which was one of the ones at the time I think got a lot of popularity. Jesus Christ, if you can't tell, I just fucking woke up. He got a lot of popularity at the time, especially because of Leo. I mean, he used him in his videos a lot, because he sort of matched color-wise to Thomas, and you'd sort of have that play off, I suppose. But it was, yeah. I think Brewster's was one of the better looking ones as well. His face was a bit derpy, but you know, it's still kind of neat. And I mean, that's basically what Chuggington Wooden Railway was. It was just kind of neat. I think the boxes were very good. You know, they're a bit more, but they weren't as refined as you get in the very late sort of, well, like the late learning curve, early to mid, and then all of the Tomy era, that kind of box. I felt like those were a bit more uniform, so to speak. One of the last characters we have here, before we get into some rolling stock, is Hoot and Toot. Now, or Toot and Hoot, I fucking don't know. This is a early WJ, which, again, it's earlier than those other fucking ones from 2012, but it says Tomy on it, so who the fuck knows anymore. Look, I always wanted to have one of these to see how it was, and man, is it fucking weird. It's still kind of funky, because you'd think, like, oh, it's just like fucking Max Monty. It's like fucking, fuck. I can't remember their names. Fuck me. God damn it, that's gonna piss me off now. Mighty Mac. Why the fuck did I forget that? You think it's like Mighty Mac, and to an extent it is, but it's still very weird, because it's a diesel engine, so it's like, huh. And it's split down the middle. It's actually a really cool design, and I would recommend getting one just because it's a bit fucking weird. Like Action Chugger, they're just kind of weird. So they kind of work. Next up, we have one of the weirdest releases I've ever fucking seen. I didn't even know it was a release until I got it. Magnetic Wilson. You know, I don't quite get why. He's just got a bunch of shit on him. And this is a weird cargo car. Also, all plastic, pretty much. This is the only wooden part here. Actually, I don't even know if that's wood. No, it's plastic. It's all plastic. Which was a bit of a problem with some of these, you know? But yeah, that's a fucking weird one. It's one of the more expensive ones, but that's only because it's just so damn strange. That brings us to the last two items. One of them being this fucking thing. Yeah, the rolling stock sucked balls, though. And I can't even lie about that. Fucking look at that giraffe. How thin he is. You can't even stare into your soul. Motherfucker just does not have any face. I don't know. These are early ones. I ain't got nothing to say. It's just a bunch of fucking random ass wood chucked together. And it's not really a cargo car. And then the obligatory, the one that is common, and you fucking see them goddamn everywhere. It's the fucking rescue cars. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with these. I saw them all the time, just sitting on shelves for years. I think I bought one. I think I have one for sale still. No one wants these. No one cares about them. They're just fucking garbage. They're one of the better designed rolling stock, but they are mostly just plastic again. You have a couple of wood components like here and here, but fucking, you've basically got nothing. And these are both early ones again, and there ain't really much else to say about that. So, if we're talking about what was really the peak of Chuggington, I would definitely argue that it happened probably in 2012. By that point, you had a lot of the good items in the range out, namely, of course, let me get them, Action Chugger you had. You had Emery, which was kind of a cool little guy. You had Frostini, again, another cool thing. Frostini is a very intriguing sort of design, and I thought that Chuggington was good for that. When Chuggington was producing your basic characters, like, let's say, Chatsworth, it didn't work nearly as well. But when they were producing sort of the more obscure things, and when the show had some very weird characters in it, it worked well. You also note I don't have a fucking puffing whatever his name is, fucking, I don't know, the puffing guy. I do. He's in a set I have. I've taken him out before, but he's currently entrapped in that box again. And I'm not taking him out, although there's not really anything else to say that Leo didn't already say about him. Especially in his destruction video, which I think is worth a watch. But no, if we get down to it, I think these are three of the best. Just because with Emery you get some actually decent rolling stock, and he looks good as a package. With Frostini you have this really cool pop-up, and I mean, that's really neat, and that's a good use of a massive amount of wood you've got there. And with Action Chugger you have some nice, you have a really cool design that children can, there's a lot of playability here. So if I was to tell any Thomas fan to go pick up some characters, what would I recommend? Look, I like Emery a lot, but if I was to tell you to go pick up two, it would be Action Chugger, and it would be Frostini, just because they look so goddamn awesome. I mean, seriously, peak Chuggington Wooden Railway right here. And they're still cheap. That's the best part about Wooden Railway. If you want to go for a full Wooden Railway collection, new in box or used, you're paying take-along prices, or less. So I would highly recommend going and getting it. I probably will end up collecting some of these. I definitely now want to get Action Chugger and Frostini new in box. There's not a ton more that I want to get, but I do know I want those two. There's been a bit of a different video today. There's another video coming up probably today as well. It involves this parcel, which I won't show my address for, and a certain Thomas Train exchange. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. You guys seemed to enjoy it last time when I fucking talked about Tomies for, well, the Trackmaster versus Trackmaster before for 20 minutes. I could have probably cut that down. But, you know, you guys seem to enjoy it, so I'll keep doing videos, I guess. While I've still got shit to say. So thank you for watching, and bye for now.